Today I thought we'd do a little mini haul from Sephora. I ordered 4 things, but I wasn't very thoughtful about the lip color that I chose. I think I chose this color. This is from Haus, and I think I chose this because it was a color that would work for me. And I don't know if it's going to work with anything else I got. These are the things that have come out in the last month or 2 months that I just, I wasn't all that interested. I guess I was doing a lot of, I felt like I was doing a lot of Chanel, and you know how it is. It's like, it's not floating my boat and there's other things, but now there's nothing for a little while, so we're going back to see some of the products that I missed. So Haus Labs is now available at Sephora, and they have a new lineup. They have a highlighter that's very blingy, wasn't interested to me. And the one thing, shorthand, that was interesting was this. We will try this on, although I don't know if it's going to go with what else I got. That is not Lucy, obviously, or the Ghost. I got the Anastasia palette. This is the Nouveau, and this is what she looks like. Looks pretty, right? When I saw this online, I thought, this looks like fall. What? It's spring. And now I'm like, well, maybe. I don't know. I saw it in person. I thought, well, golly, it is really, really pretty. We're going to do some swatches, but I have to say one thing I really like about this is the lavender. I happen to love lavender and olive together. So imagine a pair of cargo pants, something like that, in a true khaki, or is it not khaki, a true olive, like an army olive, with a purplish blouse. It works. I don't know why it works, but it does. So that is something we're going to be trying. It's been a very long time since I bought an Anastasia palette. Huda Beauty has a concealer, and I usually don't go for Huda Beauty for a couple of reasons. I don't think she necessarily is formulating for older skin, and I don't think her shade ranges are fantastic for those of us in the lighter range. I'm light medium, but still issues. But like I said, looking for things that came out that I missed, we're going to give this a try. And it's called the Faux Filter Luminous Matte. How can you be luminous and matte? Je ne sais pas. Not really. And I got the shade Honey 1.76 or B, not sure. And then I got this very mysterious product from Makeup by Mario. The Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. What is it? I don't know. Is it a bronzer? Apparently not, because they're saying on the back that it is a radiant skin powder. I got the shade Light Medium, which I fear is too dark for me to put all over the face. So I don't know how we're going to use this, but we are. First, let's get into the concealer. Why not? Oh. No. I am wearing the Charlotte Tilbury in 4N. They said this was light medium. I mean, I go by their descriptions. This is freaking light. Wow. Okay, so even if I do like this, it will have to be returned for another shade. I'm going to go in with this no longer available brush from, I can't remember the name of the brand, Real Techniques. So it has a creamy texture to it without benefit of having touched it. So I'm going to do it with my fingers on the other side. It reminds me of the Clinique so far, even better, and of the Kosas in its creaminess. It's quite a bit too light for me, I would say. And let's just see. I prefer this blend to this blend, going in with the brush and then going in with the finger over it, but I do have a lot more wrinkles on this side, so I'm just going to stretch those wrinkles out. I can't really say, you guys, because it's so much lighter than my preference if it's offering me good coverage. I think it is. I think it is. I do see some darkness underneath this eye, but this is actually kind of promising. Let us put it on the lids and see what happens, if it might be a good priming situation. I think that's a little too much. And this will just help to even out the skin. I will want to put some powder on this because I don't like a sticky base. When you're crepey, sticky bases make things even more horrifying. I'm not going to powder under the eyes though. I'm going to see what happens. Okay, I don't know if I'm getting used to it or if the color is kind of warming up a little bit and is not looking as bad. Tell me, am I going crazy? I think I'm going to let this kind of settle for a minute before we go in with the shadow. And I want to go in with the Makeup by Mario. And I'm going to use the brush I often use for bronzer. This is a Sept. Is it a Sept? No. This is a Suki brush. And look how much picks up there. I'll just take a little bit off on my hand. And let's see. Maybe this will be a good bronzer for me. So there's a luminosity to this. Not shine, but luminosity. Hard to tell, I'm sure, because I'm already luminous. But let me see if you can see it if I do a swatch. So the swatch is right here. And it is slightly luminous, but not glittery. I don't know. This is actually, I think it's a little too warm for me, honestly. I prefer something cooler for a bronzer. But I was right, it is too dark for me to use this as an all-over powder. So we're kind of mixing things up today, I suppose. A little bronzer and then kind of a cool palette that I'm going to try to make a little more summery somehow. We'll see how that happens. I did play with it once because I've had it for a while. I probably had all of these things, well, not all of them, because I was waiting for this, which came a week after everything else. And I got this about 3 or 4 days ago. So I've had this for a bit. Let's go in. I'm going to go in with the purple color first, I think. I'm going to take a big fluffy and go in with this lavender color. Crumbly. Not unexpected. Knock it off so you don't get any fallout, hopefully. Well, I do think this Huda product is very promising as a base for eyeshadow, for sure. So just a light dusting of that everywhere. And I think this just gives an overall hue. It's not something that is incredibly dense, incredibly opaque. You could probably build it, but for now, I think that's what we're going to leave it at. By the way, I also didn't say, it's not velvet, thank you. Thank you so much, because while those are, you know, fun, they get filthy. I really like what they did here. It has a texture to it, kind of like a small tweed, but it's not the different colors for the weaving. Quite nice. And we're going to do swatches afterwards, you guys, but I'm just thinking, what do I want to do next? I kind of think I want to go for this bronzy color. And this is my Hakuhodo, and brushes that I use all the time, always listed below. And this does have some shimmer to it, so I'm going to go really lightly. And just do half of the lid, I think. I'm not going to pull it out. That's a very pretty color with this kind of application. It's like a bronzed gold, but I know there's depth to this because in the palette it looks quite dark. If you wanted more shine out of this, you could go in with a flat brush, but I don't, so this is working just fine for me. I'm going to go in with a matte. Now, unfortunately, this matte appears to be kind of dark, but these are too warm for me. I don't really love warm shades all that much, and I get juxtaposition, push-pull, tension, all that, but I just don't want to go for it. So I'm going to do this and this to kind of lighten it up. See what happens. And very lightly. So I'm kind of giving myself a crease that I don't really have. A little bit of depth here. I'm hardly touching the skin. That actually works perfectly. When you look eye to eye, suddenly this is just like, hi, a lid and a pupil, and now I got a little bit of shape, but by mixing it with that lighter color, it's not too dark for me to use as a transition. And of course, that very light little lilac is underneath everything. Okay, so far I am liking the look. It has some darkness to it to give me that depth, but it's not too dark for wearing during the day. As always, I like this side better. My eyes are uneven. What else? Who else has uneven eyes? The better question is, who doesn't have uneven eyes? That's what I think. I'm taking this Refer 26, and I want to go into this color, even though there's some shimmer here. Ooh, that is really, really pretty. I want to put it on the outer corner, deepen up a little bit, so I'm going in with a smaller brush. Not as much on that particular one of fallout or dustiness. But it's not really laying down super well with this brush. Let me get a flat brush, or flat-ish brush. That's a little better. Let me try one more brush, a real flat brush, and I'm going to spray it. That's just glycerin and rose water. That's a bit better. Definitely want to clean this up. So sometimes people ask me, this will be part tutorial, you guys, why I do an inverted V here. You can see right here when the eyes open that this is coming down. I don't want anything down. It just pulls everything down, so take a look at where that is, and generally on me it's right here. So I have a really nice fade on this side that I'm not going to be able to get on this side. So I think I will go back in with this and kind of fix that up and then re-blend so it's not a hard, sharp line. But let's just keep on playing here. Another flat brush, but not, it's flat-ish, 28 from Refer. And I'm going to go in with this because this is so pretty. It's kind of a rose, dusty rose, antiqued rose, rose gold maybe kind of color. And just put it, I think it's too dark actually to put in the inner corner, but the inner lid, fine. And this is kind of going over that last bit of lavender that is still on the eye. Generally, I find 3 colors is plenty. I'm just doing more to show you what things look like. This is a very pretty shade. I don't know that my overall look will end up being very pretty. It's a very pretty shade. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to fix this eye and do some blending so it's nice and soft like this eye, and then we will come back and do some lips. I'm back. I did a little bit of the Couchette blush, you know, something warm, because I felt that I was so warm because of the Makeup by Maria powder. Filled in my brows. I did a little lining, almost everything below, and mascara. And let's do a little bit of swatching. I like to do things by color instead of by row, so we can see what's repetitive, what relates to each other, etc. And greens kind of come out at me. This is a brown, but to me there's a lot of green in this brown. And let's do the thumb for this one. So here are our green tones. And here's our greens. So this is like a celadon, I would say. It's has, well, wow, in this swatch I see a little bit of gold in it. Really pretty, like a piece of taffeta. Super pretty. This is the color that I used halfway through, and this is the color that I used on the end, and this is the color that I mixed with the cream to get my transition. This is a nice gradation. I think instead of that rose color that I put right here, the celadon would be beautiful. And then let's just take the ones that aren't green. So this one, and again, shimmers. Look how beautiful this one is. So, so pretty. So this is the one that I did put on, and it is beautiful. But this one, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It's beautiful. This whole color story, it's very nice. And I think the only one I didn't do is this one. And that one's, it's just kind of a goldish situation here. And now let's go in with the mattes. So we have this cream, which I love a cream because you can blend it with things like I did. Also, if you find you went a little too high, but you don't want to go in with a Q-tip to get rid of it, blending something out with a color like this is fantastic. And then these are a little too warm, but I can see, you know, if you're someone who prefers a warm palette, how you can use them to make this palette more workable for you. This one looks like it has a teeny bit of yellow. It's nice and creamy when you put them on, even though, like, there's a little that fell off here. I mean, wow, you know what? You could just do these three for a nice kind of warm, everyday eye. And finally, the lavender. There you go. So here's the color story. I think these are beautiful. I think they're easy to work with. I think you have to expect some dustiness in the pan, and you must hit some of this off before you go in. But when I finished up my liner and my mascara and everything, I saw only 2 pieces of drop down. Only 2. Let's get into lip. So this is, I don't know, it looks like a pen, right? You would think, oh, you're going to push something here? No, it's just a knob. And there you have it. Yeah, this color, not so much. It's a twist top, and I did try this before. This has the most unusual texture. Usually, with something matte and long-lasting, in a format like this, you're going to think that it's very much like a crayon, super thick, and it might even kind of clump up and fall apart. No. This smooths on. I'm hardly touching. And this tip lets you line. Again, hardly touching. Because that tip is something I want to keep. That's super useful. Look at that. Does it work with this? I think it might. Maybe I need to get the blush a little pinker. because I think it might. It's like a nice juxtaposition. This feels like, oh, nothing. It feels like nothing. It's such an unusual formula. I'm going to go in with Papette. I think that'll tie in everything. I could be making a major mistake, but you know what? With makeup, a major mistake is, so what? It's not like in real life where a major mistake can change your life for the worse. I'll just pick up with my beauty blender. Well, I think it would work if it weren't for this concealer, which to me is much too light. So this is the full look, you guys, and I don't mind it at all. And I think, honestly, wearing this brightness on the cheek and on the lip makes this more workable in the summer months. And I do think you can get just it reminds me of the Patrick Ta First Major Dimensions, you know, this all over, and then this next, and bring that up, make it your transition as well, and then go darker with the outer corner or as a liner. So there's a couple of ways to go with this. I actually think that this is a versatile palette, and I think I will be keeping it because I don't have anything like it. This is so unusual. It feels like nothing. It doesn't have a stickiness to it, and it doesn't feel dry when I do this. It doesn't feel like that powder kind of finish. It's super unique. I myself have not experienced a formula like this before, and I think I might just check out what other colors she might have. But I think I bought this color because it was the only color I felt like really would do it for me. This is pretty on the skin. It's absolutely pretty on the skin. I don't really get it. I think it's a finishing powder. I think that's what it is. I used it as a bronzer because the fair medium or light medium is too dark for me, and as a bronzer it's too warm for my comfort zone. I just want to see, I'm not sure I'm even here. So for me, I don't think I'm going to use it because bronzer too warm, for powder too dark, but it's very interesting, and it doesn't have a matte finish. It does have a pretty sheen, but it's very, very subtle. So it's not going to shine up your face. If you're looking for a product like that, this is the way to go. Other products that I've seen that give you a luminous finish have little bits of glitter in them, or they're just too luminous and they look like highlighters. This marries those two ideas together. This lays right in the middle of those two ideas. The Huda Beauty Concealer. So when I was using this mirror, I think I was doing that off camera, I don't even remember now. I thought, I'm not loving the way it lies, but I usually don't look in this magnified mirror here. Looking in this mirror, I still don't like the way it's lying on this side, and I very commonly don't powder under my eyes if I don't have to. We're going to go over with a beauty blender and kind of get everything redone, hopefully. I'm going to go over it with a powder and see. I think the coverage is fair. Well, now I may not need to powder, but I'm not so sure. If you are older, if you have a lot of junk under, from this distance to this mirror, which is my arm plus another 6 inches, it looks good. The color's wrong, but I'm not sure I would love this under the eyes. It's not something I'm going to turn to. But overall, I'm not unhappy with this look. I do want to show you what I might do instead of this. I think something like Night Thoughts might work too. Maybe, again, not with this blush. And now, the whole look is much more fall. And I would actually use this kind of color, but I'm not going to do it because I haven't done my screenshot yet for my thumbnail. But put a little bit of that on the cheeks, and this whole palette is going to get you, you can get year-round look out of this palette with a little bit of striking out on your own. And yeah, them's my thoughts, you guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful. I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart. and I'm wishing you good health. Now for Lucy.
Lucy! Let's go! Let's go! What? Let's go! Let's go! Ow.